If you waited more than 5 minutes to call back your last lead, you had an 80% chance of losing that job before you even dialed. Not because your pricing was wrong and not because your reviews aren't good enough, but because someone else picked up the phone faster than you did. Harvard and MIT studied over 1 million sales leads and found that waiting just 5 minutes to respond drops your close rate by 400%. And today I'm going to show you exactly the speed to lead math, so you can see exactly how much money you're leaving on the table by just being too busy to answer, and why AI is the only way to physically win this race. So let's look at the data. Now, to refer back to that Harvard study, we can clearly see that it's really a 5-minute game. And if we go beyond the 5 minute, then we're basically lost 80% of the people. And after 30 minutes, they're basically dead. And you can see here that if we answer within 1 minute, we basically have the lead still on our site and our ad. And we have almost 400% more likely to convert that lead. Whereas if it were 1 to 5 minutes, and then perhaps they have already looked at one competitor, perhaps they're still there, but it's still baselined. Whereas when we get into the 5 to 10 minutes territory, they have already Googled other 2 to 3 people. So you can imagine, for example, if they were on Google, they would just like browse to the next person. And once we get into the 10 to 30 minutes, they're probably already calling someone else, especially if it's an emergency in after hours and they need urgently someone. If you do not respond within that time frame, you're probably losing them and they're basically calling someone else. And after the 30 minutes, you can basically consider that lead dead. So this really stresses the point of speed to lead, of why it's essential to be able to always capture every call that comes in and be able to hear what the customers have or what they're looking for. Now, let's look at the conversion rate for every minute that passes. So we can see that if we are going to respond within 1 minute, we're able, for example, if we get 9 leads, we're able to close 45% of those. And we notice that, and you notice that the close rate tends to drop the more time we are going to wait. So if under 1 minute, we're able to get at a 45% close rate, we can see that if we get to the 5 to 30 minute mark, that drops to 15% close rate. So that means that every home service business should strive to respond as fast as possible to any job that comes in. Now, let's play a scenario where we have a normal HVAC business and that have answering teams, and perhaps a business that is using AI to answer every call that comes in. Now, as we saw before, with the scenario of a normal HVAC business, we see that we get 9 leads and we're able to respond in under 1 minute with only 9 leads. Where on the opposite end, with AI, we're able to basically respond immediately for anyone that comes in. So if we get 85 leads per month, we're basically able to respond to them, to all of them, first of all, and then we're able to respond to them within that 1 minute time frame that we're aiming to achieve. And the conversion rate is, of course, staggering. It's both 45%. So if we get 9 leads without AI, we get then 14 conversions, which then generates $11,000. Whereas if we go the AI way, so that means that we're answering every call and we're able to also get to them in a timely fashion, then we're able to convert 38 people out of the 85, so 45%, and that would generate, with a job average ticket value of a job being $800, then that gets us to $30,000. And it's really important to stress that these are the same leads and same amount being spent perhaps on ads on Google or on Facebook. But then with that, we're able to generate over $200,000 a year. Again, taking into consideration that an average job is $800. Now, it's really staggering to see the difference that being able to answer within 1 minute can make into a business, and AI is really perfect for this specific scenario. And now we can see that the breakdown per minute, so if we look at the close rate basically dropping per minute, we're also able to quantify it on how much we are losing per minute if we're not able to answer fast, and that amounts to $200 per minute that we're losing when we're not able to get back to the leads that are calling us. Now, why AI wins in terms of speed to lead game? Because if we look at humans that may be in the office, they get a call and they respond, and someone might respond ideally within 2 to 5 minutes if they are in the office, whereas AI is able to respond immediately. Availability is really an important topic, of course, because we have the 9 to 5 schedule. Weekends we're off, after hours we're off, whereas AI is always available all year round, 24/7. On holidays, it really doesn't matter. We can keep it up and running at any time. And concurrency is unlimited. So what do we mean by concurrency? Concurrency meaning that we can handle how many calls we can handle at the same time. Of course, if we have a human team, we are limited to the amount of people that we have in the team. Whereas concurrency with AI is basically unlimited, meaning that we can set as many concurrent sessions as we want. That means that we can have 10 people call us at the same time, and we are able to serve the 10 people at the same time. It really is not a limitation there. And in terms of consistency, of course, when dealing with humans, where basically depends on the day, there is inconsistencies. Every person has their own style, for example, of reporting things in the CRM or reporting notes. Whereas AI, we are able to train it on specific data, and it's able to give us consistent results. Of course, based on the way that we have trained it on the training material that it has. And data capture, it takes, of course, a manual work for us humans to basically listen to the call, transcribe, write notes, and then report into CRM, whereas AI is able to do that immediately after the call has ended. We get something called an end of call report, and from that, we're able to basically paste it into the CRM to basically have a consistent logging of the activities that happen during the call. And in terms of follow-up, AI is really well equipped to that, as we're able to set rules to automatically follow up with people. For example, 12 hours before, 24 hours, or whatever rules we want to set in order to reach out to them. And we can do that also in multiple ways. So that can be SMS, calling, sending emails. So we can also reach out to people in different channels so we can reach them in the best place that they are in. So again, AI is really good in terms of speed to lead and doing things in a systematic and programmatic way. And you can imagine that if you're able to answer people within 1 minute, you will probably book more jobs. So you will win more jobs. And when you get more jobs and hopefully you do a good job, you're probably going to get really good reviews. And from those good reviews on Google Maps, able to then get more leads, which then improve your conversion rate. And it's a flywheel that keeps feeding into each other. So it's really to get calls and answer them fast. And to not mention also the optimization of your ad budget that you might on Google Maps, Google, or Facebook ads. You're spending a lot of money to get off your leads, and you want to make the most of it by being fast to answer. So to drive this point home, speed is definitely number one. It's really important because then it feeds into the entire flywheel. And of course, you want to be making the most out of the budget that you're putting into your ads on Facebook or on Google, and to be able to really squeeze the most out of your ads. AI would be a really way to basically capture a call that comes in. And in 2026, many companies are now adopting AI, especially for use cases such in after hours or for overflow during the day. So for example, if someone is basically calling and the receptionist doesn't answer, then we get it into AI. So it's really an interesting way for you, especially in 2026. And if you want to consider AI in your own business and you're thinking, ideas, then happy to chat. I do leave in the description, the first link, a consultation slot where you can book a slot with me and have a free chat. So I'm happy to see you there. And if you want to see how we built an entire lead reactivation system for old leads for an HVAC business, then I do invite you to watch this video right here. See you there.